Hello everybody. I thought I'd give a short video here to sort of go through this new functionality that I've built for side staking, which is the visible part of it is the GUI piece to be able to control side stakes from the GUI, which has been a long requested feature. So let's take a look at that. Let me get this set up right. So essentially, the new side stake features are built into the options area in the wallet. So if you go to this is a testnet wallet, one of my testnet nodes that is also got my normal CPID associated with it with a lot of magnitude because I crunch a lot. If you go to settings and you go to options, you will see now a table in the staking area of options. This is meant to show, and the reason there's actually a status here is it's meant to show local, which are labeled active, and then mandatory side stakes if we ever implement them, which would be mandatory entries which show up because they're defined by protocol, and you can't stop those. If you turn off the local specified side staking flag, you will see that there's no entries left in the table because there are no local side stakes active. If there was mandatories, they would still appear there. If you turn that flag back on, that reactivates or shows the active stakes. Now, what's really going on is the GUI is actually picking up the entries from the core, which if you're storing dynamic entries, they're actually not stored in the gridcoin research.conf file. They are actually stored in the gridcoin settings.json file, which is the read-write file that is meant to be used to control settings changes that occur while the wallet is running. By the way, if you put traditional side stake entries in the core in the gridcoin research.conf file, which is the read-only file that's used for startup, they will be picked up by the GUI, but if you make any changes to it, it will write those changes to the JSON file, and those changes will override the changes that are in the core file, in the config file. So just keep that in mind. But this is actually very flexible, the way this works. You can, I'll show you adding an entry. So let's just add a new entry in here. Let's pick someone from the, let's say, self side stake tests. Let's just take that one. Copy. You can see I've got a lot of stuff in here from testing before. And let's, I copied that address, so let's go to options and put an entry in. So we press the new button. We, by the way, if you put in a bad address, it's going to know. So let's just try something crazy. You can see it knows that that address is not valid, so it actually does validation against the addresses to keep you from doing something dumb. I'm going to paste a valid address, which I picked up out of my address book. Oh, by the way, if you put in an allocation that doesn't make sense, it also knows that. And you can see that there is an existing side stake with 20% in there. And so if I put in 80, let's see if I put in 81, it's not going to work. See, it gives an error. If I put 80, which adds up to 100, it is going to take it. There you go. Boom. Immediately active. Notice I'm debating whether to make you press the apply button by making it active, but in fact, this is immediately being saved. You actually, if you were watching carefully, you can see that I've got an auto update running on the JSON file, and you can see the entry was immediately made in the core JSON file. You can do in-place editing. The address field is not editable, nor is the status, but the allocation and descriptions are. So for example, if I decide, I want to change the allocation, I can click it in place. Let's do something like a dumb thing. You can see, obviously, you can't put something stupid in there, but you can change the allocation to another valid allocation if you want. Boom. So there you go. You can see you change that one, change it back to 20, and let's say I don't like this one that high, change it to 10. No, you cannot put in negative numbers. That does not work. So there you go. By the way, you can actually turn off a side stake by simply putting 0. And you notice it immediately changed it to 0. So that will basically suppress that side stake from actually being put into the blockchain. I debated whether to allow you to edit the status, but I felt it was easier, reduce the complexity, just to allow people to change the allocation to 0 for side stakes that they temporarily don't want to use. I think it's the easiest, either way to do it. So yeah, that's the basic part of it. By the way, you can also do, in addition to doing in-place editing, which works, and you can see it immediately changes up here. You can do editing using the edit button as well. So the edit button works as you expect. This field's read only the address because it can't be changed. You can change the allocation and side stake test as you wish. Of course, if you put in a bad allocation, it's going to do the same thing here. See, won't let you do it. So again, we go back. Boom. And there you go. So that's oh, in deleting. So if you delete a side stake, you just simply select the row you want. Oh, and by the way, you can sort these via however you would, whichever column you want. So, but if you want to delete a side stake, you just select the appropriate row, you press delete, boom, you notice it immediately updated in the core, you're done. So that's really side staking in a nutshell in terms of the GUI control. If you change the core, it will also reflect in the GUI. So I can go in here and use the core to do it. So this will be either using the console or the RPC. If I do list settings, you will see that the side stake allocation there is this setting. So for example, I could go change settings, side stake allocations equals, let's change it to 10. Boom. Change taking immediate effect, and if we go back and check the GUI, you'll see the file changed, and if we go back and check the GUI, you're going to see that the GUI also changed. So everything is in sync. So there you go. That is the new side staking functionality in a nutshell. Pretty exciting. Seems simple. Was not simple to implement. It was kind of a pain in the rear, but finally got it done. And obviously part of this PR is also to implement all the machinery for mandatory side stakes, which may come down the road as part of the benefactor work. Wanted to go ahead and put the plumbing in there to support that now. Even though the mandatory side is really not activated, we have the facilities that's been put in this PR to actually support that work later. So that is the new functionality for side staking. Thanks, everybody.